Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to manage our emotions during a little bit of a dump. Let's get into it. So let's go over the crypto market first, and we will discuss where the prices are, and we can kind of talk about this and work it out. So the big thing to keep in mind here, especially when we're talking about crypto, is to not get too emotional when you're looking at the price dips. You don't want to make any moves that are going to hurt you in the long term just because of your emotions. Now, if you are extremely emotional at this point and you're thinking, oh no, I'm losing 90% of my net worth, well, maybe you're too much into crypto. So that could be a sign at the next peak, maybe it's time to take a bit of profit and bolster up your savings accounts. But for the rest of us that have been investing and know exactly what's going on, this dip does not concern you. And I'm going to explain exactly why that is. All right, let's get into it. So obviously, Bitcoin and everything else is in a red day, and really on these days, as much as it's good to talk about alts, and I'm sure people are going to ask, like, what about Ethereum? What about all this? What about all that? At the end of the day, the only thing that truly matters is Bitcoin and the crypto overall market cap. So just to go over, the market cap is currently $1.4 trillion, which is still up from the overall, so we haven't lost all that much. We're down about 10% today, which just goes to show, one, how fast money can move in and out of this market. Now, it is important to note that $1.4 trillion, even though that sounds like a big number, it's not a lot of money. None of this is a lot of money. Bitcoin hitting $1 trillion as its market cap alone is not a lot of money. And I know every time I say things like this, people are like, oh, well, how can that not be a lot of money? Listen, to regular people like you and me, $1 million is a lot of money. To average economies and GDP and how countries and the globe works, $1 trillion is nothing. When you look at the grand scheme of things, the stock market being almost $100 trillion, even more so now, and then you look at gold being 11 trillion, Apple is 1.8 trillion, it's really, really not a lot of money. So for a price to drop this fast, it seems pretty normal, especially if there's a lot of selling pressure, which is most likely what's happening. We can probably attribute a good portion of this dump to miners and also just people taking profits. Now at this point, we can attribute it a lot to panic selling. Now, what does that mean for crypto and the bull market? Is the bull market over? Are we done? No, I'm going to explain exactly why. So I first wanted to look at the total crypto market index. So this is the total market index. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I wanted to show the previous bull run and how it looks. So keep in mind that bull runs look smaller after a bull run has happened. So for example, these bull runs down here, you can't even see them because of the dramatic increase from the 2017 run. So obviously it's going to seem a lot bigger than it actually is. But keep in mind that we still have a lot of room to grow. And I'm going to explain exactly where I think we are in the bull cycle. If you do look at the previous bull cycle, there are a number of dips that do happen. And often these dips can be really scary when you look at them. You see the first dip here in July, which seems on par with the last dip that we had. And then you see another major correction. And this one obviously looks a lot more scary. Now, to put this dump into perspective, the one that we just saw, this is the biggest dump that we've ever seen for Bitcoin ever. And that's to be expected because we have a ton more people and a ton more investors that are so new to the market. Everyone's so used to the market only going up. Well, the reality is things always go down eventually. Does that mean that the bull market's over? No, I don't think so. To look at the BTC chart, but looking through right now, we're sitting at around $46.6 thousand, which sure is a lot of money to lose. But if you look at it in terms of just a couple of days, we've really only lost roughly 12 days of gains. Sure, that's a lot, but when you put it in perspective, 12 days isn't anything to be concerning. This isn't the dramatic drop that we saw at the end of the 2018 bull run. What I think we're seeing here now is a massive amount of selling pressure because all the new investors are scared because of the volatility. And of course, people are taking profits, miners are dumping their Bitcoin. There's a lot of factors that go in to drop the price like this. But I definitely don't think we're out of the bull market. I think once we find some level of support, I think that's going to be a good thing for us. Maybe not a good thing for Bitcoin. I think for Bitcoin, it could suffer for a little bit. But the reality is we needed this for an alt season. And as much as we thought that we were in an alt season, I don't even think we were. I think once we see Bitcoin finally getting some stabilization and trading level, we're going to see a massive move to the upside for most altcoins. And I think it's going to start with some projects just booming. So it might be smart to pack up your bags now. In terms of Bitcoin, where do I think it's going to go? Now, obviously, Bitcoin's not canceled. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. And if you weren't taking profits up here, I probably wouldn't take profits now. In fact, I haven't taken any profits from Bitcoin and probably won't until I hit price targets of around 70,000. And that's maybe when I'll start taking some profits and moving it into Pax Gold. Now, I did do a cash out video to describe what exactly I'm going to do, but I'm basically going to take a small percentage, maybe 1 to 2% every other week, and put that into gold. I'll additionally probably diversify a little bit more of my cash out, and then once it starts getting to the parabolic levels, I might end up taking a little bit more off the table as I start getting more and more uncomfortable with the levels. But I do plan to have some crypto left over so I can sell during the downturn of the crypto market. Just like dollar cost averaging is the best way into a market, dollar cost averaging is also the best way out. But ultimately, I could be wrong. Bitcoin could just recover and it could continue its rise. And I definitely think Bitcoin will slowly rise, but maybe not to the degree that it has been. I could see it roughly regaining around the 50,000, 52,000 mark and then trading level for altcoins to pop. But of course, Bitcoin will start again and we will end up reaching to the end of this bull cycle, which will eventually end up being that parabolic rise. Now, I am telling you, we aren't there yet. And I understand totally, if you're a new investor and you're new into crypto, I understand how scary this drop could be. But when you factor in the amount of money that you have in the market, the reason why it's so volatile is not because the market sucks. The reason why it's so volatile is because you're so early. This has nothing to do with the market. This has to do with your timing. The market caps are so small that such a small amount of selling pressure can dramatically change the market. So as much as this is scary now, eventually crypto will lose its volatility over time and as more money enters the market. But because this is a new asset class and a completely new investment vehicle, the volatility is going to be high and the risk is obviously higher in regard. But at the end of the day, and I know a lot of people have lost money over the last couple of days, just remember, you haven't lost anything until you sell. Any losses are unrealized, and the exact same thing goes for profits. If you're 100K in profit, you're not actually 100K in profit until you sell. So just keep that in mind. Even in the worst case scenario, let's say hypothetically, this is the end of the bull market, which definitely isn't. If we were going into the bear market, how bad would that be? It's another couple of years for you to accumulate and for you to become a millionaire for the next bull run. So really just put it in perspective. At the end of the day, we should all be here for the long term. And I'm not saying that this bull market's over. Far from it. I just think we need a little bit of a rest before we get going. I am happy about the sentiment for my channel and the community here. I really appreciate it. I really like this. The fact that you guys replied to this poll in the way that you did. And I feel the same way. And in a lot of ways, I actually didn't think, because I didn't make a video yesterday just because I wasn't feeling well. And it had nothing to do with the market or emotions to the market. I don't let the prices or price action affect me emotionally. I think that's very unhealthy to have money impact how you feel about your day. So I think if you are having some dramatic feelings about the price crash and that's making you have a bad day, that's probably a good sign to shut down your blockfolio, or even think of taking some crypto off the market if that is really stressing you out that much, because maybe you're just over leveraged and have way too much in the market. But for the most part, I'm generally emotionless with how the market moves. So I put this comment out just to see how everyone else is feeling. Some people were selling, a lot of people were buying, and a lot of people had zero emotions. Now, I did buy the market yesterday, and just to point out for you guys, because I often get asked all the time, what alts should I buy? What alts should I buy? Right now is the buying opportunity. Right now is when you buy. You buy the dip. This is when it's hard to buy, right? It's easy to buy here. It's easy to buy at 62K. It's hard to buy down here, but you buy down here, right? When Link was hitting $36, it's easy to buy Link at $36. It so easy. Look how easy it is to buy Link at $36. But how hard is it to buy it at 20? How hard is it to buy Link at 20? And keep in mind, Link's only been at 20 for roughly a month, right? So these aren't gains that have been here for decades. These are gains that have been here for weeks. They can be wiped off as fast as they came. even faster, in fact, than we've seen. And this happens. This is exactly how crypto works. But I do get it. If you are new, this is pretty shocking. And get used to it, because this is what we're in for at least the next couple of years. I think the next bull cycle will be as equally as volatile. Think of how heavy metals work. It's probably roughly the same way. If you look at DOT is also probably a good entry point because we know where DOT's going. You know that I'm a big fan of DOT. And we have things like VeChain that really didn't pump all that much. It pumped to 5 cents, but it's still 3 cents, right? We're getting big discounts here. And again, like I said, it's easy to buy the tops, right? Emotionally, it's easy to buy the tops. Emotionally, it's hard to buy the bottoms. But that is when you buy. Often, so many people ask me, when do I buy? When do I buy? When do I buy? And they always ask, oh, it's up at all-time highs. Is now a good time to buy? No. The best time to buy are these times. These times where everyone's blowing up my comments and everyone's really scared and super afraid about what's going on with the crypto market. These are the times to accumulate and buy. So if you have taken profits, I would say it wouldn't be a bad idea to re-enter some positions or open up some positions that you haven't entered before. I know things like Elrond are cheap, Aave, and a few other cryptocurrencies that maybe you haven't gotten into, but maybe now is the right time. Because I do think that once Bitcoin levels off, I think altcoins are next. And I think once those start popping, we're going to truly see what this bull market is made out of. I hope that this wasn't too moonboy for you guys. I hope it gave you the right sentiment in terms of what I'm thinking and where I think we're going with this market. I do think that there's plenty of room to go, even if there's not. Just, at the end of the day, if you're being super stressed out about this, it's time to take some off the table, because that is what you need to do to feel comfortable. If you're someone here and you've put your money in and you're ready to lose that money out of your investment, then at this point, this shouldn't really bug you. We know what we're in for in crypto, and we know these volatility spikes happen, and in the grand scheme of things, this really isn't that bad. Sure, it's the biggest dump, but arguably, that one's bigger. And I don't think we're heading there. Like I said, I think we're going to trade sideways and everything else is going to move up. But overall, if you look at the crypto market cap and everything, $1.4 trillion is still in the market. That's still a lot of money. I hope this gave everyone a good perspective of where I'm thinking and where you should be thinking in terms of the crypto market right now. I do want to say thank you very much for 1,500 subscribers. You guys have been great. I was actually going to do a video about NFTs today, or actually I was going to do it yesterday, but I wasn't feeling well. And then I was going to do it today, but obviously we went through a double feature of a crypto bleed. So I figured we should talk about that and discuss that a little bit more. I would really appreciate the subscribe though, and also like this video so this video is shared amongst other people. Obviously this is very needed for the crypto space right now. I really appreciate everyone's support for the channel. I'm so happy with where this has grown, and I'm so excited to where we can go by the end of this bull cycle, and then again through the bear market, because I'm not gonna go away. I'm here, baby. Let's go. And you guys should be taking the exact same sentiment. You're here, you're invested, and you're still super early. All right, guys, happy hodling.